Bouncing back in map 2 was, in fact, G2, and putting a whirlwind of pain down on fnatic. 16-8 was the scoreline, and as the story unfolds itself, there are a couple players that we can begin to highlight. Welcome back to the analyst desk here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Major 2019 in a lovely place. It's actually quite warm outside. Getting even warmer here as we look at an elimination game, and perhaps we can go ahead and start by comparing some of the statistics here between two players, at least over on the G2 side of things, because for what it's worth, boys, these guys showed up in a big way.
Yeah, indeed. Shox had a really standout performance in my mind. He had a lot of opening kills. Lucky with the secondary op on Dust 2 really proved his worth here. I thought Shox would actually be the one opping a lot, and we saw him up early in the game instead of Kenny S, but Lucky had so much impact towards that B site throughout the first half.
Yeah, I'm super happy to see him finally flourish as the secondary AWP. I think we saw it a lot in 3D Max where he came from. He's a very skilled player, a great individual, but we haven't seen it at this stage. Let's not forget that this is his first major as well. There's a lot of pressure on these new guys into G2, but finally they're coming through. Some of that individual skill we saw Fnatic have on Mirage, that was the exact other way around. This time around, G2 were the guys in charge.
Yeah, and you could tell just how comfortable they were there. There's a lot of questions as to why, Dust 2 would come out into play here and play into their strengths, and maybe one thing that they find themselves for here. Sean, why is it that this caters to them so well?
They just had a lot of cool looks across the map. So they threw a wall of smoke at long A and did cat hits. They had a nice mid B. They had a lot of just opening aggressions too on CT side, especially towards the B tunnel. So they honestly switched up a lot on both halves.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You saw a well-driven G2 for the first time. I feel like they had a map where they had a foundation to fall back on.
Which is quite contrasting to what we talked about in our last post-match. But we do have some kind of cool toys they're going to let us play with here. Let's see what we got for them, Jacob.
Yeah, we got Sponge to make us a little clip here on Telestrator. I just quickly want to highlight some of the Fnatic, or some of the stuff that Fnatic did well, but also did poorly. So we have around here where they take long control. They have full long control, as you can see on your map right now. They have no idea what's going on towards B, but that doesn't really matter in this case. Now, if we play out the clip, we can see two smokes gone down here. So we have the crush smokes, which means that Fnatic can move up towards long and try to take A control. For some reason, though, the bomb is being dropped right here, and Brolan is staying here because he want to throw a smoke towards cat area, which in itself is a good idea, but it takes so long for Fnatic to get up. So if we just look at the screen right now, you can see the first smoke is starting to fade away, and as you can also follow on the minimap right here, the bomb is coming up long, and what happens when Brolan tries to crush is that the bomb is going to be left in middle. At this point, Fnatic had a very good chance of winning this round, but as soon as the bomb went down, with all the smokes used already, it's just going to be a brawl. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one fights, and that's where Fnatic seemed a little bit disjointed.
It looked like that smoke was actually meant to be the CT spawn smoke, so as those cross smokes faded, there'd be a deeper CT spawn smoke down, but he missed the smoke. So
that
is only himself to blame.
Yeah, I mean, we were seeing missed smokes even over there on Mirage. So, I mean, I suppose why not have it on Dust 2 as well? Hell, why not even have it on the Overpass at this point? Because that's where we're going. That's where the decider is here between who's going home and who's going to live to fight another day. G2 and Fnatic trying to stay alive in the Intel Extreme Masters and Overpass being that map. There's some rough, I guess, storylines or narratives that we could follow along here. Not either of these teams having tremendous showings on Overpass in this tournament thus far. And I mean, for what it's worth, we're looking at a CT side from G2 that was very, very much a strugglesome one. In fact, only 4 rounds.
Yeah, G2 on Overpass throughout this event has been horrible. Their match against ENCE, where they kept stacking the B site with 4 players, and they just kept getting burned time and time again. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I've never seen a worse performance, actually, on a CT half of Overpass. So they'll probably come with a different approach here, and I don't even know what to expect because it has to be different.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing they got going for them. Right now, Fnatic doesn't really know where G2 is going to be at, because what John just said, they need to change something, because what we saw against ENCE, that was absolutely horrible, to be completely honest. That said, though, Fnatic is not a strong Overpass team either, so this one could go both ways, and it could be a brawl, it could be a very messy match that is going to be between the individuals once again to be determined.
And just to clarify, you can take a look at some of the numbers on your screen right now in terms of how this one might start to pan out, 50-50, and you can see why this one was left in the veto process, but for G2, it's been a rough one. They've played ENCE and Avangard on this map, and after 11 rounds from Avangard on Overpass, Buster having come very much online, then at least on ENCE, this is the sort of terrible showing that you guys are talking about, where it was really only 2 rounds there in their pocket.
Yeah, but with all of that being said, all that needs to happen for G2 is Kenny to just dominate the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
They have so many key players on their team. Shox is having an outstanding series so far. I came into this series thinking there is no way G2 can win, and I would almost, put this on 50-50 as a third map.
Yeah, and as a third map for Fnatic, I mean, we've kind of talked about G2 a little bit into where they land on this one, but Fnatic themselves, do they fare a little bit better here? Has it been a rougher road for them?
I mean, you have Crims, right? And he's currently the best player on the server, without a doubt. So he needs to step it up once again. We didn't get to see him that much in Dust 2, and that's just, again, Fnatic didn't seem to have the right rhythm going for them on Dust 2. So again, you have you have Kenny S, you have Shox on the side of G2, and you have Crims, and you have a guy like Brolan for Fnatic. So once again, I feel we're putting ourselves in a situation where all it comes down to is the individual performance from these teams, because neither of them are playing some of the best fundamental, the best team Counter-Strike right now.
Right, and at least for Fnatic, they did, obviously lose to Vici. They have caught a few L's up to this moment. In fact, when they played them on Overpass, it was a slow T side that proved to be that thorn, and it really doesn't give them that room to run with, or at least get started. Even cranking the engine was just never on the cards that day.
Yeah, against Vici, they really couldn't get anything going on their T side. And this should prove to be something they're more familiar with when they play G2. So hopefully they can kind of move around the map at a better pace. But ultimately, I think the question lies in whether Brolan can show up. He's so young. He's 16 years old. And this match is probably going to be the most pressure he's had on him in his entire career.
And you could say the same for Lucky and Jax, right? You have two guys coming in from the French scene, two guys who have never played a major before, as far as I'm concerned, and two guys that was praised a lot for their individual skill. Thinking of them coming into G2, you thought to yourself, all right, you have guys like Shox, you have Kenny S, two very veteran players that have a high immense skill, but those two guys, they need to step it up when it matters the most now.
Yeah, and that's one way to look at it. I mean, we've got roughly 30 seconds here. Sean, I kind of want to put you in the hot seat here. I want to ask you, as what would have been obviously an in-game leader and now being able to look at a big picture hindsight, what do you say to these young guns on either side?
Ooh, that's a good question, Trace. I think, honestly, I would go with the breathing exercises pregame. I'm a big fan of it. Slow down that heart rate. Get him into the game. Remember, just go over the game plan, right? Pistol round, first gun, second gun. That's it.
It requires you have a game plan.
Cool. And you guys have who again?
Fnatic.
Okay, well, we've got a house divided, and that house divided has to come down at some point. And it comes down to this pistol round right here on Overpass. We're going to have Moses and Vince bringing it to you. Fnatic and G2 Esports squaring off.
Thank you, boys. We've done our breathing exercises. We're ready to go for this third and final map of the series. Pimp going with G2. Craziness. Here we go. Fast-paced. Crims trying to get into the action. Slow start on Dust 2. It's going to be not a slow start for Fnatic so far. Entry kill, but Kenny S responds. But then all the rest of the frags fall in the way of Fnatic, and Jax is caught in the open.
Flurry of frags will have Shox in a 1-on-3. Trying to make a move around the back. Beautiful one-tap on Twist to kick things off with a bang. May not have a kit under his control just yet, but there's plenty of time. He was so rapid on his ascent back to the site. It seemed like the damage was irreparable to be for G2, and Shox has found a second one. Looking for that kit, and he's picked it up. Now JW is all that stands between Shox and a beautiful clutch, but he's just about playing the time perfectly. Just darting back in and forth and keeping Shox caught in two minds, and there is JW. His Glock will sing for him, and Fnatic claim first blood.
That was so close. I, honest to God, felt like Shox was going to build up into that and steal that round away in a 1 versus 3. Now is the time for G2's stars. And the two you'd point to, obviously, Shox and Kenny S. They both had good pistol rounds. 2 kills for Kenny, 2 kills for Shox, and unfortunately not able to complete the clutch. But as the Des mentioned, we've seen this overpass from G2. We know it's not by any means their best performing, or we don't see them perform their best on this map. You're going to need the stars to show up on an individual basis. Also, ESL's brand new radar is live in this map. They've added in some grenade effects. Obviously, there's a border around the player that we're spectating on the map. Looks beautiful.
Does, nice and clean, crisp and clean. See the Molotov there, little orange circle. Another one down in connector now. Damn, I'm just gonna get sidetracked by that radar. I already feel like I'm gonna be looking at it all the time and miss all the action.
Yeah, no one's looking at the frags, just the new radar. Well, Deagle's P250 on body. 5 smokes as well, and just the first one used now. Fnatic's got to be careful. They obviously don't know this, but if they don't apply some pressure pretty quickly, they're going to be hitting a bomb site with smokes in their face.
Smoke's being deployed as the attack commences. Fnatic barreling down on the Frenchman. And here comes Jax, Deagle in hand, nearly stacks up with a triple, but instead it's going to be Crimson Brolan answering back. They're both heavily tagged, both bleeding. Hemorrhaging at this stage, need to apply some pressure to the wound. With only 30 seconds left. And G2 in pretty good shape. Even better now that Shox is struck onto Brolan. Crims, his position compromised, just going to go for the plant, and he will be able to get it. G2 not in a position to stop him. Now they're both going to be coming up on Dumpster, and Body will find the headshot. G2 bounce straight back with a round of their own.
That was so sick. That was a designed play to get Jax into that smoke. And this works from G2. They drop the smokes in front of the bomb site. Fnatic smokes on top of that. It's a great way to be able to find isolated fights for those Deagles. And obviously Jax just wanders into a smoke for a pop flash play right through it. Didn't see that the other day on Overpass.
Definitely didn't. Otherwise, things could have been quite a bit different.
All right. I mean, that gets me excited. I was a little bit worried this could be a blowout, especially since we saw Avantgarde put, what, up 11 rounds, I think, on their T side against G2. Now things get interesting. How does Fnatic respond? I don't know if they're going to want to force up into this. They do buy Deagles, no armor, no utility alongside of the pistols. Can't complain about that start for G2. That's the first pistol round that they've lost in this series, but the damage gets negated by winning that ensuing second round.
Well, some players, when their backs are against the wall, that's where they're the most dangerous. And Twist will find Jax taking down his M4. It has been denied courtesy of Kenny S's AWP. Will back away to the A side. They feel like that early skirmish has been won. Only a flashbang for Fnatic, so getting onto either of these sites is going to be a real task. Plus no Kevlar.
I think that was even picked up off a dead body. And flashbang. Also, new detail on the radar, the X's marking where players have fallen. JW has been spotted by Shox, who's going to get aggressive. Doesn't want JW to have any time to find a frag or a fight that he enjoys. And Kenny's backed all the way to the bomb site.
Two Desert Eagles. The arsenal of weaponry for Fnatic with just over 30 seconds. Kenny spotted one of the two. Stands to reason they both be clumped together and try and be effective as a united force. Kenny S uncharacteristically misses 2 shots. Pretty straightforward from his perspective, but haven't really been punished in the process. 15 seconds, grenade absolutely evaporates Exist's health. Down to 32 now.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything if you're G2. Let him come to you. That's a good trade from Crims, but Kenny's there to stop it. So, not bad. 2 guns taken away. One of them M4s, 1 UMP.
Pretty important at the end as well that Fnatic did push. There was about 5-10 seconds left. If they died after time, of course,
yeah,
their money would have been ruined for this round.
Yeah, they had to go for it. But the AKs are back now. UMP on JW. Solid utility level for the Fnatic side of things. But they have to deal with that op from Kenny S, because remember on Dust 2, the ops were solid. Saw a nice round from Lucky with the AWP. Kenny had some nice shots, and he's going to get things started here. And this map, talked about it a few times in the past when we see it. Sneakily, the ops can just be dominant on this. Look at that boost. A crouch, waiting for the pop flash. Holy hell. Domination from G2. They're going to get a third, and this happened so quick. 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock, and Exist is the only player alive for Fnatic, now fighting in flames, and even though they're bunched up, it's not even going to complete 1 kill.
So G2 have lost Overpass twice in their road to this position against Ensign of Anger. 16-6 and 16-10.
They're just sandbagging, Vince. They've got us all right where they want us.
Playing the old Ro4.
Yep.
So a great start compared to what we've seen in prior Overpasses. I guess losing twice, you learn a lot about what's been going wrong. Maybe address a few things, but nothing wrong with this start. Kenny S, it's been good to see him get aggressive with the AWP as well. He's got a couple of picks in mid. In terms of this round, you can see grenades landing all over the place, mainly on B. Twist took a bit of chip away from the grenade. Exist takes a shot courtesy of Kenny.
And Kenny's feeling safe as well. He's got Jax close up to keep some space. Jax now rotating out towards long, so Kenny's playing for himself, can fall back, pop flash to get information, and the bomb on the ground is a pretty solid piece of information. That's a nice shot to follow up. Even getting the third kill. Exist trying to pre-fire the angle. Good round from Jax with this AK. Heat check on this fight. Crim's being exceptionally difficult to hit.
His mission is just to do as much damage as possible at this stage. In terms of clutching the round, it's
actually, Kenny S shouldn't peek this. If he goes down, there was really no one close by for a moment to get the AWP, but he waits as Lucky starts running over. So swaps back over to the AWP. It's a 4-1 lead for G2. And it's Kenny S leading the way with 7.
125 ADR to Kenny. Jax has 123. Shocks with 105.
It's not too shabby, is it? Not too shabby at all. Here we go. Deep Molotov for Kenny. Twist is going to beat it. So is Brolin. But JW gets split. No one from G2 is being too aggressive. They are wrapping around towards the long. It's a little bait and switch setup. Kenny S far back with the AWP. And Jax close up with the AK. Opening kill for Crims through the wall.
Looking to procure a path onto the B side is Crims, but it's going to be a deadly endeavor. Bonnie's going to deal with him. Meanwhile, fnatic push their way past balloons. Could be setting up for a boost.
G2's pushed their way through Monster. Yeah, that's going to find Kenny. They do great damage, but it's tough to complete that kill through it. We saw it just the other day. They still don't know Jax is pushed up, and they still have no idea that Body has pushed out of the B bomb site. So much information being gathered by Body. Bomb on Twist is going to start rotating back. That's a pretty nasty fight to take with the AUG, and the smoke is just brutal. That's going to slow so much down. Body using the Molotov as well. Now he just has to get away safely. But look at all this aggression across the map for G2. No matter where fnatic goes, G2 knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that body stall has really allowed Jax to get in position, but now that his teammate has just been killed and time is pretty low, is it going to be enough? The bomb's been dropped. They've actually dropped a Molotov on this, and Jax could do even more damage. He's spraying across, does land it. Could have just won the round for G2. They're going to have to push straight onto the site. Here is Lucky. Had a fantastic Dust 2 performance, and Exist should be able to get the bomb planted, but he's going to get pushed down instantly afterwards, and Lucky will clutch. The stall into flank, far too strong.
Yeah, that's so sick. I mean, it's actually kind of impressive that fnatic even had an opportunity to win that round after everything, but G2 coming out swinging here on Overpass. An impressive start, 5-1, and an early timeout for fnatic as they're stumped. They do get the bomb, they do get the extra plant money, they had a 4-round losing bonus, and now it's fnatic who's won the pistol, but just doesn't really have anything else to show for it.
Yeah, pistol into 5 rounds. Gonna leave a mark, and Exist is yet to get off the mark. Still killless, 006. 11 ADR. Crimson, meanwhile, is performing well. But again, we've discussed this in the past. If Crims is the only player that's really doing anything, fnatic will struggle, as good as Crims is.
Well, they're going to need more than just him when you have 3 players deliver. Remember, you just mentioned 3 players on G2 over 100 ADR. You have Kenny S with that AWP. Jax is having a very good game. Shocks is up there as well. So even Lucky's sitting right at 93 ADR. 4 players from G2 really clicking at the moment. So fnatic is going to need to match that at the very least.
I mean, even Body has got 79 ADR, so everybody over 75, which is pretty phenomenal, all things considered. Wrong and Shocks take the early chip. Body is going to have a clear shot onto Exist, and that's just a free kill given away. Nothing preceding that peak. No flashes, nothing at all. Seems a bit useless.
Well, those are fights that wouldn't... Oh, what a double up from Kenny. Gets aggressive and he finds him lined up. That's a little bit of luck going his way, but fair play. Though, I think part of the reason is Kenny's going to get a third one. He's going to stay aggressive, and this is the problem with him starting to heat up, is if he gets this confident, he's going to be so difficult to handle. What I'm trying to say that kind of a fight with the AUG through Monster, in that sense, you probably would rarely see that from CTs before the AUG has been a revelation to how you can play on this defensive side. With an M4, you don't just stand in the open like that. With an AUG scoped up, you feel much more comfortable. The only other time you'd see that probably is with an AWP. But G2, I mean, they're really piling it on at the moment. 6-1, 5-round lead over fnatic. And remember, this is the deciding map. fnatic absolutely demolished G2 on Mirage. G2 returns the favor on Dust 2. And now it looks like G2 wants to build upon that here on Overpass, and so far, they're getting started the right way.
We have Agent Exist, unfortunately, on the server. Meanwhile, fnatic gonna maybe try and push through the smoke on short if they're feeling aggressive with these pistols, catch the CTs off guard, deciding against it, gonna bide their time and wait. But it's gonna be a B hit. They have no control over Connector as it stands. For all they know, Jax is rotating around the back of them once again, so they're going to have to push the button and go aggressively, and Body's there with the Orc, 2 kills already. Not going to get a third, but the information is going to be gathered from the rest of the team. And now they can buckle down on this B site defense. Jax is just watching the side in case they go for a rotation. He can also play as the kind of sweeper role in Connector. But yeah, the stragglers of Twist and Crims are living on borrowed time. And they know it. Lucky with a trade. G2, 7-1 in the lead.
Nice double peek right at the end there from Shox and Lucky to ensure they get those kills. Even with one player falling, they've got so much money built up. 3 players over 10,000 before the purchase. All 5 of them over 9,000 before the purchase. That's not bad.
What else isn't bad is since that first map that we played, G2 are currently leading on terms of rounds 23-9.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue if you're Swedish. Here we go, Kenny again. Saw him get aggressive earlier and find a pick towards that terrace stairwell. This time he just tosses a nade and falls back, but he's gonna get the pick anyways. Brolin out in the open trying to grab an aggressive angle very quick, and he's stopped cold, but now Kenny's blind. That's one way to deal with him. Jack's still in bathrooms though, and they have to be cautious about how they clear this. Twist gonna turn the corner. Oh, Jack's reconsidered behind him, and now they know he's blind. Crims steps up to the plate. Shox finds safety in aggression. If he keeps going, he might be able to turn this into a flank, and once again, G2 loving this B aggression.
Good shot onto Body though, while airborne, trying to peek over the boxes. Now fnatic piercing the heart of Overpass through Connector. Lucky was thinking about checking on Connector side, thinks twice of it, and in doing so has actually allowed one of the players to cross, now both of them. Now of course fnatic have no idea that Lucky is here. So if he plays his cards right, he'll have the bomb planter down.
They'll never expect Monster as a point of danger. Actually, excuse me. Hold that thought. Crims knows everything.
He is just too damn good to be bamboozled off a play like that. Meanwhile, Shox try and get back onto the site. Insta headshot to Crims, who is already low.
He's going to win this, Vince.
Well, Exist has the positional advantage. And Shox doesn't have any nades left now. So it's going to have to come down to the kill. Lands the headshot, and with the kit, he will get the defuse. I bow down to you. You are clairvoyant, Moses. You knew all along.
No, it's not even that. Shox is on point right now. He is so fast. That kill he had on JW in bathrooms was so impressive when JW takes the peak, and then you saw the near clutch on the pistol round, and Shox is obviously feeling this game at the moment, which is a worrying sign if you're a fnatic fan, because not only is Shox performing at a high level, but Kenny is delivering as well. Even with a spectacular shot like that, Fnatic had everything they could have wanted in that round. They took out Kenny with him not getting a single kill. Excuse me, I think he had one, but took him out pretty efficiently, all things considered. Jack's aggressive. This time, Shock's going to push down the stairwell. They have a nice little crossfire setup. I don't know if I don't know if Fnatic is going to expect this. Here comes Twist. Gives up his position, and Jack's going to get aggressive.
We need Twist to land some of those entries, but Kenny S and Jax, dynamic duo in mid, both going to claim kills. And it just seems so easy for G2 at the moment.
This is a different G2 than we've seen throughout this tournament. Something's clicking all of a sudden. We might all have to tweet at Ocelot and apologize at some point.
Fnatic not going to give up on round 10, making a move over on B at this stage. Molotov stops Crims from pushing, and a smoke in his eyes afterwards. Still plenty of time though. They could even rotate back up to A if they so choose through connector.
It's not the strategic decisions that are hurting Fnatic at the moment, it's the fact that they're just individually, G2 is not only matching them, but in the case of Shocks, outplaying them. In the case of Kenny, outplaying them. Exist might have an easy kill onto Kenny, who's low HP. Body has just snuck in just as he moves his crosser. The timing's not with him, and now Crims, 1-on-4, won't even get the chance through the corner of the boxes. Kenny to finish him off. Fnatic need to get something going immediately. Exist still on 0 kills and 0 assists with 10 deaths.
That's the problem, isn't it? When your IGL, the guy you're trying to rally behind, is just having a stinker of a game. Does it affect his leadership? Does it affect his confidence?
I think Exist is too experienced to let that happen, but certainly needing more production as well from everyone. No one on Fnatic in double digits in kills. The highest is Crims with 8. Twist has 6, but it's a pretty steep drop-off from there.
Well, let's see what Fnatic have in store for us as we jump live into round 11. 9-1 the score. The deciding map. One of these two teams will be eliminated at the conclusion of Overpass, and right now it firmly looks as though Fnatic is going home.
Jax in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of craziness. He's somehow going to get knifed. Brolin comes through, gets that extra bank. But Kenny's the one you got to worry about now. He's still aggressive. He's had a couple very nice sequences. Obviously extremely confident. Now he's going to fall away. He's got a teammate here to help out. Shocks has arrived.
Second knife kill of this best of 3, I believe. I think Brolin got one on Mirage as well. Onto Kenny, if I remember correctly.
It's a samurai.
Sure is.
Brolin has the AK-47, but he also has no health to play with, but Shocks walks right into it. Not expecting that angle. And now out towards long we go. That's exactly what Kenny wants. Oh, he doesn't clear deep enough. He doesn't clear along the left wall. They're gonna get so close. He's gonna go down for free. I don't think he has a chance of responding in this situation. There it is. JW swings out wide, and Fnatic have pulled off a bit of a miracle. All the rounds they struggled with rifles. This one just pistols. They find their way in, and they find their second round. But boy, is that a wild bookend of Fnatic rounds. A 9-0 run for G2.
Kenny has won all 4 of his entry duels, averaging 91 kill, assist, survive, or trade. Not too bad.
It's the benefit of the AWP as well, right? And on a map like Overpass, where you can fight such a powerful retreating battle through the bathroom, so many tricky angles that you can get with relative safety with that AWP. And this is the best Kenny has looked in this whole series. Relatively quiet on the first 2 maps. Couple nice individual rounds, but here on Overpass, he's putting together a complete game.
So vitally important that Fnatic keep the winning ways now, though. They've got a chance, some foundations, but they've got to build upon them. Something sturdy that's going to last. You feel like they probably want 4 or 5 rounds off this half now. Can they do it, though? Also, winning on, by and large, pistols does bolster their economy. They'll be able to afford in the next round whatever happens here, especially if they're to get a bomb plant down. And it seems like they may be shifting up the gears a little bit. It was looking like they may go for more of a faster hit on B, but they're going to slow down as Crims eats a grenade.
I think they just don't want to mess. G2 has shown them multiple different looks on defense towards Fountain and Party and Bathrooms. I think they just don't want to mess with it. They don't really know what they're going to see when they get there. And obviously, Kenny playing well with the AWP. That's always dangerous to head in that direction. There's Body, gets into a battle, traded immediately afterwards.
Not a bad trade for Fnatic, all things considered. It's going to thin G2 out a little bit, but they've got to do something with this. They're all clumped together. Again, this is where Jackson is constant flanks, constant pushes behind. May get into the back of Fnatic's mind. They did this a lot on Dust 2 as well. Can they afford to sit around for much longer? Obviously, we can see that they can, but they're going to go ahead, blot out the sun with all these grenades. The engage is well and truly initiated. Lucky in the meanwhile, though, hasn't really been forced away with any grenades. He can tee off a couple of shots. He's not going to land as he was on Dust 2. So Fnatic have made inroads onto the site. Going to get the bomb planted. And now Shox, who's up close, may be able to deliver some shots. Now Jax has overplayed his hand. Crims read that from a mile off. Shox in the meanwhile, though, it's going to put JW down. Pretty passive position is assumed by Fnatic, but the bomb is planted on the right side of Pillar for short. Meanwhile, Shox is going to go in with 2, and G2, even in rounds that look like have gone too far, they drag it back somehow, some way.
When Shox is playing like this, post plants are so dangerous. He is so good in those scenarios. His aim is on point at the moment, and obviously the op's ringing out as well, but more importantly, the perfect teamwork and coordination, having a teammate flash for him so he could take that fight up the ramp, finds a blind first kill, and then able to hold Monster. And part of that, you're exactly right. Such passive positions from Fnatic on the post plant, way deep past Monster. There's no chance of trading any of those kills. And G2 takes that bomb site back very easily.
So Fnatic will be able to rebuy, as I mentioned earlier, but instantly broke back. G2 must be feeling so confident, just oozing through them, coursing through their veins at this stage. Jack's going to be joined by Kenny S on long. This classic stack, as you see so often on Overpass. Kenny having a look through the flower beds, but his teammate's gone down. Kenny will connect onto Broland. Takes a bit of damage, but gonna go for the repeat. This is the kind of confidence that you want to see from Kenny, but it is gonna cost him. JW will not allow him to get any more kills out of this round.
This is a clever play by Shox, though, because Fnatic has found 2 frags towards long. I don't know if they'll expect a third person here and Exist. He's had a rough game. He's gonna find his first kill, and that's a big one to get. Fnatic need everything they possibly can down the stretch. A 4-on-2, they can't let this fall, and Crims isn't gonna let it. Lucky is the last man alive. Starting to run out of money is this defense, so this is actually a pretty important weapon for Lucky to keep in his hands. I don't think Fnatic will do too much chasing. Lucky at the moment has 11,000. If he keeps the AWP alive, he can drop it over to Kenny. He can rebuy one if they want to stick with a double AWP, or a couple M4s.
And impressively, Lucky has only died 2 times, and we're moving into
That's crazy, actually.
round 14 after this one. Pretty nuts.
That is craziness. Explains why he's got so much cash. He can actually drop 4 M4s.
Mr. Moneybacks.
He could buy for his whole team. He's rich. Well, Exist is on the board, 1-11, 17 ADR. Quite obviously not his best game. All can be forgiven, though. If they get up to 5 and they find themselves at least with something to play with in the second half, right? That's the important part at this point. No matter how far down you are, just give yourself some breathing room, a chance to make 1 or 2 mistakes on the next half, because they're going to happen. And you need to be able to have, just need enough rounds to be able to survive them and be able to respond.
Sure, plus in the previous 2 games, obviously G2 have played Overpass, as I said before, Ensign Vanguard. With their T side, it was really lackluster. So it's the easiest side coming up for Fnatic, a side that they know G2 are pretty weak on. But again, going back to our original point, G2 were not playing this well in those games. So who knows? Katowice is going to miss his shot. In the meanwhile, of course, as I say that, the curse of the commentator.
No, I'm just laughing. I'm loving the way it was Crims and Twist who went down those stairs, and as soon as they hear the AWP ring out, they're like, hell no. They all back away so quickly. They want nothing to do with that fight. 4 players at long. It's Twist who's alert. He wants to hold him in the staircase. Shox is burning right into the arms of JW. Fnatic, as we've seen them do so many times across their tenure in Counter-Strike, finding a way to claw back into this game. Good shot from Crims.
All of this push off the intel of Kenny being in connector. But the bomb has not been planted, and they're starting to leak kills at this stage. Crims, though, is going to put body in his place. As they look to ascertain the bomb plant, Crims goes in for another one. 3 kills already in this round and won't be required for a 4th. But Fnatic do have 4 rounds. This is starting to get into the realms of possibility now.
What a force of nature this Fnatic team is at the moment. I can't believe they found a way to come back into this game. 4-10. It's not the greatest half, obviously, but it's much better than what it looked like was going to happen. G2 was shaming them this entire half. Crims not letting them go down without a fight. 4-10. Now the money's a little bit hindered. Now the buy is a little bit hurt for G2. They still have the double up though, so still extremely deadly.
AWP's currently situated. Kenny S, of course, on 8. And Lucky using his AWP over on the B side. So keeping it split up and diverse. Shox with an MP9, though, could be a bit of an issue. UMP for Jax. Not a huge amount of grenades, actually. No Molotovs currently in play. 4 smokes, though, should be enough. Depends, really, if Fnatic can bait some of these out. But Crims goes looking, and Lucky will take his life for free. The worst of starts of Fnatic going through into the last round of this half. And it's their key man as well, just to add salt in the wound.
Now they've encountered body pushed out of the B bomb site a couple times. Twist was considering the possibility. Did not clear the corner as well as you would like. Bonnie's gonna get a second one. The damage is done. 35 seconds left at 2-on-4. G2 looking for a strong lead after this first half.
3 players over on B. Again, Jax just watching the flank on the off chance they're going to rotate, and there goes Kenny. Number 16 and 17 with his AWP.
Well, this is a G2 that we haven't seen before in this tournament. That was a phenomenal half from them. 11-4 lead over the reigning IEM Katowice champions. Fnatic in some trouble. We'll see if they can get out of it when we return.
In the clouds, and I'll take it, yeah. Reminding myself to just let go. Don't wonder how far I can fall. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down, never fade out. Never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving.
No matter what happens, some Counter-Strike legends are going home. It's a 4-11 deficit. G2 has a massive lead over fnatic. But this is the half that we've seen where they struggled on in the past, and they've shown up and they're a completely different team than what we saw earlier in the event. But one last hurdle for the Frenchmen to make their way, for one last chance tomorrow to make the Legend stage.
They are only 5 rounds short of eliminating the Katowice 2018 champions of fnatic as well, trying to defend their title here at IEM. And G2, if they win this pistol, this is a huge body blow. This is going to create a chasm of rounds between the two teams. So even more pressure on the shoulders of fnatic. They exist with a HE and a kit. Typically, I feel like if you're picking up some utility, it's going to be a smoke, but obviously wants to try and land that and dome someone with it, but it's going to be Lucky that claims the first kill. And instantly, fnatic on the back foot in such an integral, important round.
There's that P250, and that kill is going to pull fnatic in the wrong direction. Molotov over towards Toxic Barrels, and these players, JW's got to be careful. Doors open, he's looking behind him, he's waiting for that peek, trying to find the timing. But meanwhile, the B bomb site is kind of lost. There's players here. Twist with the kill. JW adds another, but he can't get Kenny.
Exist now from Heaven's going to have to strike multiple times, but he's not able to add to his 1 kill in this map, leaving Crimson a 1-on-3. The man has been an absolute legend for fnatic over the years, but it's not going to be able to add. And Shox will take him out. G2 12-4, second pistol goes their way.
That one stings. That one really hurts if you're fnatic. Down 4-12 now. You can save this round, but you're going to start have to taking some risks moving forward in terms of buying when you don't want to, because you just need those rounds at this point. Shox has shown up. Kenny has shown up. G2 has a massive lead. Stacked towards this B bomb site. All 5 players from fnatic are here with their USPs. The one Deagle on Twist. But G2 is certainly going to take this one slow. Mac-10 on Body and Jax. You'd imagine they're going to be the ones to go scout things out. Body likely over at Sandbags. How much will he see? 3 players on the other side of the map for G2 are just waiting to make their move.
Yeah, Body and Jax really are the expendable players with these Mac-10s. Just go in and cause as much carnage as possible. Farm up the money. Smoke going to be deployed. Head has just been spotted, and Body is going to come out worse for wear on that trade. But in the meanwhile, his teammates are starting to move into position, albeit very slowly.
He's only spotted 2. Oh, there's a nice boost. Now he's got more information. At least one or 2 more. But actually, G2's going to commit here. They're moving in through Monster with the bomb. Low HP, still great advantages, and I don't know what Brolin's doing. He's, I don't know, playing patty cake.
A deadly game, it turns out. And now with 35 seconds, Jack's going to be pushing down as many players as possible. 2 kills alongside him. The 1 HP dream is real, and JW, the only player that has struck this round for fnatic. It's only a matter of time before he will meet his maker. 12 turns into 13 rounds for G2.
I think when all is said and done, no matter, I mean, you have to imagine G2, great advantages to close this one out. If they make it onto the next round, you have to imagine that no one's going to underestimate them moving forward. Everyone was a little bit scratching their head at some of their performances earlier this week, but they've stepped it up here. 3 more rounds for G2.
Could be one of the last times that we see fnatic with any kind of a decent buy. This could be the beginning of the end, or the beginning of something truly spectacular in the form of a comeback. Shox his 8 significant damage early on.
That was a good peek from Twist, even reading the follow-up on the other side, so he's done damage to 2, Shox and Body. G2 still pretty far back across the map. You've got JW with the op watching long. He's seen nothing quite yet. You have Brolin close in bathrooms to keep space, and he's seen and heard nothing but utility. And now a contact play. Body's going to take the peek right into the crosshairs of the AUG. That's Twist with the opening kill.
HE a bit too shallow to really bother him, but Jax pushing behind it will be his downfall. Kenny S can now poke out from connector. 2 players strong, going to be counteracting him, and Roland from the other side. Kenny going to be shut down. And with it, Fnatic have a 4-on-2 advantage, just leaving Shox and Jax with an uphill climb, to say the least.
Yeah, especially now the bomb is on the ground. Shox wanted to at least take 1 player away before he got into the site and planted. All damage is good damage at this point. Take money away. You've spotted JW. He does not want to lose that AWP. His teammates are not close by to be able to save that weapon. Doesn't have to worry about it here. Brolin's going to find that final kill. 5-13 now. If they get reset though, Vince, ooh, would that hurt?
That could be it, if they get reset, to be honest.
Timeout for G2, I think that's kind of what they're discussing. If they want to apply that pressure this early, because they don't have a lot of money to do it with. Kenny's the only one who could really get a solid buy with an AK-47. So I think, excuse me, Jax has already bought his, which I guess could influence the decision. But Fnatic may get lucky and get away with one.
I suppose it's risk versus reward at this stage. I mean, G2 can sense that Fnatic are weak. They can sense they could finish this match off right here, right now. On the other side, though, if they go for this force and it backfires, Fnatic have a chance to get back into this half.
Yeah, they do have a chance to catch fire if they can win this one, but G2, they want to keep the pressure on. They have some rounds to play with, so JW gonna get aggressive. There's the opportunity, but he just slides out of vision. Brolin's caught out in the open. He's gonna have to fight on this retreat, completely blind. JW's there for the cover. He's got the pick. Kenny walks right into it. Good opening kill. JW wants more though. Gonna use that smoke to get away, but he's still nearby, still looking for more.
Oh, not too far off, landing in a second shot. Would have given Fnatic a fantastic early lead in round 19. Roland has been eviscerated by Lucky though. No real chance to counteract, just an insta headshot. Putting more pressure on JW's shoulders.
See the march as well from G2. Up bathrooms, up highway. They look like they're ready to pounce. They do have a okay amount of utility. 3 smokes, Molotov, just the 1 flashbang though. They've got to get past Crims. Fnatic running out of nades. 38 seconds on the clock. This is gonna be a hit. They could fake it and run down the stairs, but I don't think they have the utility to necessarily do that. This needs to be a trade. Lucky looking towards the site for one. Crims can't handle the spray. The Deagle puts him down, and JW has it all to do. His teammates have arrived though.
JW's been naded up before he can do anything. Twist on the prowl, but he's gonna be turned on very quickly. Fnatic need this 1v3 to go their way, and G2 Esports, their force buy has been a success. And with it, Fnatic are now hanging on by a thread.
Maybe not even that. They're black onto pistols that they can, that's all they can fight with in this round. CZ's, Deagle's purchased up. The Swedes are reeling, and they are just 2 rounds away from knockout.
You can see how much this means to them. So much on the line, such an important match. As I said in the desk, completely agreed. For players like Broland, youngsters, this is the most important moment of their career, if not their entire life.
Yeah, a lot of things, a lot of invested in this, obviously. A lot of time and energy. 9-17 for Brolin, 9-17 for Twist. Great shot from Body to really help out, and A huge lead for G2 that it doesn't even look like they're willing to relinquish. Katowice back on the AWP, 4 AKs around it, and just pistols. And that utility is going to disappear very fast, whatever nades they have, and fnatic decides to get aggressive. Push into the short sewers, see what you can find. There is Shocks there, looking for that aggression, and even Jax is just so patient. He's going to walk right in. This is he prepared off angle. Here comes the peek, and Brolin just eliminates 2 so quickly. That's an alternate AK. This round has turned on its head.
Excellent turn of events. fnatic catch G2 tripping over each other. I don't think Kenny could really do anything because Jax was right ahead of him. Probably worried to get a team kill.
It's almost so worried to be caught off guard by some kind of aggression that you allow that aggression to be more effective. But Body, he just rushes into A and secures it. Now, G2 can actually meet up with him long. This is going to be a tough round for fnatic to get back into. It was once a 5-on-3, and even though they've recovered some weapons, it's going to be difficult to retake this bomb site.
I think his Body was so far ahead of the rest of his team, they're only just getting to the site now. So fnatic have had a chance to go for these boosts and realizing that you can't buy stilts in Counter-Strike. Body tries to get the second through the wall. There's Lucky onto Twist. fnatic were looking like maybe they could steer this ship away from the rocks, but it seems to be capsizing all the same. Exist has to pull off this 1v3, otherwise G2 will have 10 match points. He's got the first, but he's been tagged heavily in the process and he's out of there. He's conceding the round.
It's hard to fault him for that decision. I mean, you need this op to fight with in the future. You don't have any money, misses that shot, and now it's going to get taken away from behind. Shocks was there watching the flank the whole time. What a round from Body, even reading the boost. He knew the choke point was smoked off. He knew he'd have an extra second to adjust if someone came through it. Brilliant, brilliant play from Body to take that bomb site. 15-5 now.
Another timeout. fnatic desperately trying to dig deep and muster something special. Crims continues to be the linchpin. 16 kills, 94 ADR. The only players that are higher than him are Body on 96 and Shocks on 99. This is another scintillating performance from Shocks. 21 kills, 9 deaths. He's been at the center of everything for G2.
I don't think fnatic expected this coming into these matches today. I think anyone expected this G2. 21-9 for Shocks with 99 ADR. 19-10 with 91 ADR for Katowice. 10 chances to move on tomorrow. 10 chances to eliminate fnatic. In another round, fnatic has to do with just pistols, and you're not going to have the benefit of Brolin getting a double kill. There's Jax to step in, and a 5-on-3, a 5-on-2 as Kenny rings true. And this is it. This is all it for fnatic. For G2, it's not quite redemption, but it's a good first step.
The first of many to turn some heads, to turn some hearts back to G2. Exist and Crims, a huge mountainous task ahead of them, but need to start the first few steps, and they're going to do just that. The bomb has been planted. Exist going to get the drop onto Shocks, able to take him down, but there goes Jax. And it's on Exist again to pull off another 1v3 clutch.
No kit. And he's not even going to get through the smoke. Jax just sprays through. G2 come out with a whole new level in maps 2 and 3. Not many expected it, but the faith of the French fans has been rewarded. As G2 will survive another day, they still have to fight tomorrow, another best-of-3 series to stave off elimination to move on to the Legends stage. We're going to say goodbye to fnatic. That's a tough loss. It'll sting for a while. We've got our desk ready to go, though. We're going to send it over to the boys.
Yes, Jason, a very sombering moment for Swedes all around the world, and there were no boost on this overpass this time to save them and run it back all the way to the end. Unfortunately, this one has come apart at the seams, and it would be fnatic the lesser. You can see the emotion there. You can see just the drain that this map has put on them. A real rough affair as we do say goodbye to fnatic, who were the defending champions of Intel Extreme Masters Katowice as of last year. Now, out of the major very, very early.
Way too early. I mean, Fnatic, a team that I believe coming into this one was favorites pretty much against everyone. The teams themselves ranked Fnatic as #1 team to face. They were #1 in the rankings. They were definitely not living up to that.
Yeah, the teams they played throughout this event, they should be beating probably all of them. I mean, they lost to Vici and Windstrike, and now here they lost to G2. Not the best performance, clearly, from Fnatic, and they will be going home for it. But we have to give credit where it's due to G2.
Yep.
On the screen right here, Shox, this man had a phenomenal series. Not only just a great last map, where he was playing super aggressive towards the A site, and we saw him retaking the B site time and time again. Himself and Kenny just destroyed them.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, credit where credit is due, absolutely. G2 coming out with a fury of fire on this map alone, and this is where they really needed to kind of bring it all together. This was the third map of the series. We did see it go to all three, so there was a chance here, I'd say, to I guess, wipe the slate clean if you're Fnatic, but it just wasn't in the cards today.
No, I think the individuals of G2 was simply just performing too well. You said yourself, Shox, Kenny S having one of their old resurgence games, so to speak. You had a very aggressive G2 as well, constantly pushing up middle, constantly taking map control, didn't really leave any room for the Fnatic guys to work with, and I think they were just shattered by that. I think Fnatic never really got into their game plan. They never got to do any of the stuff they wanted, and at that point, you saw it on your screens yourself, the players was just out of it.
Yeah, they're super dejected. You could tell that, you know what, we don't have control of this situation at all. This is not going how we wanted it to, not even remotely close to something that would resemble even a comeback at that point. They looked defeated just watching their emotions.
Yeah, they did, especially when you looked at Exist, who had a really, really tough last game. He had one frag up until like one of the last couple of rounds. I think he ended the game with about 30 damage around. Definitely a poor performance from him, and I actually thought he was performing well throughout the rest of the event.
Well, the rest of the event has to continue on here for G2, and we are honored in this moment to congratulate G2 and hear from them directly. We do have Shox down there on the sidelines with Franker Z. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Shox is quite apt, really, because you have shocked the fans of Fnatic by knocking them right out of the majors at this early stage of the competition. However, we have seen you guys struggle a little bit at the majors so far. Really needed to sort out those CT sides on Overpass, and you did. How did you make that change?
First of all, we just looked at both matches and also like kind of practice how we were doing, and we were kind of not really doing the same, I would say. We've been a lot, I mean, we don't really have a reason to, but the thing is like we are under pressure since the beginning of the tournament, and we just, I mean, we don't know how to just get the pressure out, you know, and just play CS just how we are supposed to and how we like to. And that's what's happened, for example, on the last two maps here today. So I'm really happy that we managed to finally I mean, be comfortable on the server, but it's only the beginning. Like we are 2-2, so nothing is done, and we have to keep doing like this for tomorrow.
So would you say then the criticism you've faced so far has been justified?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's just it's an excuse or whatever. It's just what it is. The thing is, like, what we showed on the server since the beginning of the tournament was really poorly, and we are the first one who are really ashamed about it, because we know, I mean, it doesn't reflect what we are showing in practice, for example. So no, we don't have any excuses. We just have to get up and find the way to feel comfortable, as we did on the two last map today.
Well, there's one more match standing between you and the Legend stage, Shox, and I believe you might be feeling a little bit more confident after today's match. So congratulations. Let's head back to the desk.
Yeah, let's do just that. Shox rocking 93.1 ADR in these three maps and certainly keeping his team in the fight here. Let's get some closing thoughts to you guys before we go on with the show here.
I'm just overall impressed with G2. I thought, you know, they would shell up once they dropped that first map and we would see, you know, Fnatic walk away with this quite easily.
Right.
But the fact that they had the heart and gut to come back in this series shows a lot to me. And I think regardless of who they play tomorrow, I give them a good shot.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think it's fair to mention out Shox as well. A brilliant performance from him individually, not only in terms of ADR, in terms of rating, but the impact he had in the rounds. He made a lot of rounds winnable for G2. He was very impactful in the clutch situations, and it seemed to me like Shox felt comfortable, as he was trying to say as well during the interview.
Well, the interview did go as smooth as that last map there for G2, but the smoothness has to start looking a little jagged here. Again, we need to send another team home. It's going to be either Cloud9 or Furia. So if you're with us, you're going to want to be there when we come back. This best of three is going to be one to end the day with.